preparing, and now we are streaming on Facebook.
Hey, again.
Apologies if you were on earlier and we looked very confused because we were. So, anywho, as you may notice, well, first of all, thank you for being here and being patient. We normally, Shoji is our radio DJ, but he had internet that is not very reliable. So he decided to rely on me instead, and we did whatever happened earlier. So, anywho, moving on. Welcome to our At Home with Eri Uchida. And it's very, very exciting. As many of you have seen, kaDON is starting this new awesome series where we are utilizing this idea of live sessions, especially during this time, to connect people from all over the world, and just to stay connected in what is a very challenging time period. But even then, we're hoping that even when things go back to normal, this is a great way to connect the community with artists and people of so many skills, anywhere, everywhere, anytime. And we recently just wrapped up Emily's exercises, and those were really, really fun. I was really sore the next day. Thanks a lot, Emily.
Yes. Super out of shape.
Thank you for reminding me that I have not moved
Oh my goodness.
very much. And if you're interested in, even though they're finished and they've concluded, if you're interested in checking those out, they're actually still available for purchase. So they'll be available until the end of August. Check that out. So to move on, we have come up with a wonderful name for these live sessions. It's very brilliant. Wait for it. It's called kaDON Live. I know, right? Mind blowing. Who came up with that? So yes, they were calling them kaDON. I know, you have no idea. We came up with so many different ideas, but honestly, kaDON Live, it just sums up what we're doing here. And it could be these live sessions, it could be these chats and interviews. So we hope you enjoy, and let's continue. I'm not here to hear me chat. Who do we have today, Shoji?
We have the amazing, the great Eri Uchida. Yay!
Yay!
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. And I as we talked about, this is just very casual, just like how you have casually have a minion and an okedo on your bed. And I casually have stuff around.
Wonder Woman, Superman.
Yes, this is just, so it's very casual. But our hope today is, of course, just to talk with you, catch up with you, talk more about your workshop. Let me just mention that really quick too. So Eddie, this is of course very exciting, is going to be doing a 4-part live series called TaikoIN Body Awareness. And we'll talk about that today. And the times for this, it starts next Thursday at this time, actually, 6 o'clock Pacific. And again, if you're not in the time zones, or if you are unable to make that time, you can always still watch the recordings later. So we'll talk more about that. So Eddie,
Hi.
How you doing? Tell us about yourself. What's going on these days? It's tough. It's tough, right? Tough world, but how are you surviving?
Well, it's tough world. Well, I was supposed to go to Europe in April and May and come back to Japan once, and then again going to Europe and States. So I was supposed to be in States right now. But because of this happened, everything had canceled. But I'm sad that I was not being able to see everyone, but it became actually good time for me because it became like such a great time to like self reflect. Oh my god, too many L's. Self-reflection. L and R is hard for Japanese, okay?
Dang, we're going there. Okay, yes.
Yeah. So the as a title, TaikoIN Body Awareness. I don't know that if some of you know about TaikoIN, but I did the presentation about TaikoIN, what TaikoIN is, with Sydney Shiroyama, who's doing this project together, in beginning of May. Up to that time, I was pretty depressed, and I was not doing really anything. before that. But since that presentation happened, I realized that there are so many people, and it's actually like since everything has stopped, and because of that, everybody who's usually busy, no, like not at home at all, is staying at home so that I can talk over the computer to anywhere in the world. So I've been talking so much more than before to the friends in abroad. No.
Yeah, because I noticed you've been doing, I know like for our friends in Europe, you've been doing some like talk with Eddie, right? Is that what,
Yeah.
tell us about that. Like, what was that like and what was that about?
It was really nice of them to offer me that. It started with Italy, Chiara. She was a part of Roots of Kodo. I guess I'll talk about that later. But yeah, she was part of the workshop that I held when I was in Kodo, and I was supposed to go there in May too. So she wanted to do something to like, meet some of the member of her group and me, even over the computer. So I did talk about myself and also like did small exercises that I could do online as well for an hour. And that led to do the workshop in Spain with Isabel. And last weekend I did one for Germany as well. And from those things, I'm still getting like, oh, can you do it here? Can you do it there? I'm so lucky.
That's fantastic.
And finally, I'm like, I have this plan of doing this with kaDON. So nice.
Woohoo! Yeah, yeah.
Yay!
I mean, I
Woohoo!
always think that that is kind of the, I mean, of course, we wish the world was in a better circumstance, but I think a lot of us have seen that the silver lining has been we've always had these ways to stay connected, even if we're not in the same city or the same country. And I think, especially seeing what you've been doing, like that's such a prime example of how, like, what the technology we have nowadays, like we can still stay connected. Like the amount of conversation I've had with you in the last 2 months is probably way more than we would have had.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry for that, but I mean, sorry for you. Yeah, it's like Diana again. But yeah, and I'm again very honored. We're all very honored that you're able to do this for kaDON. I do know, I mean, a lot of people do know who you are, but I do think there's actually quite a few folks who
Right.
are like, oh, who is this Eri Uchida? You know,
Right.
why is she awesome?
Why is she such a big deal?
Yeah, why is she? I know, why is Diana fangirling, and why is everyone fangirling about
Exactly.
this Eri Uchida? I think it'd be good for like let's talk about like your Taiko background. You know,
Right,
like
right.
why don't you take it from wherever you want. You were
Right,
born
right.
on no go ahead. Go ahead.
Right. So I don't know if, well, I think most of people know about me as like member of Kodo. I was a member of Kodo for 10 years until last year. But I have to start my story from before that because I was not going to become a member of Kodo. Like I was not trying to become a member of Kodo from the beginning when I joined Apprentice Center. The reason of that is, I'll go back to when I started Taiko when I was 16 in Japan. At that time, it was just like local group, very community local group, nothing really serious, but very community and like everybody is so connected, and I felt very connected with that group. And at that time, I knew that I was going to go to Canada for high school. I just wanted to do something different from everyone else, I think. I just wanted to leave Japan back then. But I met this Taiko, and it just felt so connected. I went really into it. So even if after I went to Canada, I started a group with the people in the local area in Canada. But I always told the group that I'm not going to teach, even though I was the only one who had played Taiko and Japanese, because I liked how my community group in Japan was. They didn't have any teacher. They taught each other and they learned from each other, and they had like their role. They are very themselves. I really liked it. So I told them, I told the group in Canada, I was the leader and I had to do something because I was the only one who knew about Taiko. So I told them, like, I want to play with you. I just want to play song with you guys. So I will share whatever you want to know, whatever I know, but I'm not going to become a teacher. So they were so confused, but I kept telling them that. But they want to know more and more about Japan and Taiko, and I was only 16 or 17, and I left Japan because I didn't like Japan. So of course, I didn't know about Japan. That made me realize that, wow, I want to share, like there's something that I can share, like essential things through Taiko to the people who are eager to learn. So that became kind of like something that I wanted to do, and that made me think I want to learn more. So that led me to go to apprentice center, because Kodo's apprentice center is a place that you learn so many things, not only Taiko, but like also like how they live in the old time in Japan. And of course, not only Taiko, but Taiko, dancing, singing, flute, and other instruments. And also like tea ceremonies, joining the festival, so many things in 2 years. And you have to be able to cook, and you have to clean everything. Well, you experienced, Diana. Yeah. But yeah, so that's what I wanted to learn. And I thought, like, if I observe that, I can share that to the people in my own words after I graduate. But I realized right after I went in, 2 years is not enough at all. So I decided to try, and I luckily got in to Kodo. So after that, just tell me if it was becoming too long, okay? Because I tend to speak long.
No. Please, you're doing great.
Okay. So, but after I went into Kodo, I was really just trying to become a member of Kodo. Like I was just trying to be Kodo, because like Kodo had a long history, and I have to be suddenly I have to be on the same stage as the people who I was watching in the video, or like, oh, the YouTube didn't exist that time, but like video or like something like that, something to look up. But I have to be on the same stage. So I just like really tried. But after a couple years, after like 5 or 6 years, because of that, I was honored to be a member of Kodo, but at the same time, I put a lot of pressure on myself. And after 5 or 6 years, more younger members comes in, and where how I have to act in Kodo has to change little by little. I'm not a newbie or whatever. Then I felt like really stuck. I didn't know where to go anymore. So I was actually thinking to quit that time. But my friend told me that like, have I done what I wanted to do? Then that made me realize that, like, that reminded me of the dream I had, to share something essential through Taiko to the people who are eager to learn. So that was the time I met Micah again. Micah is from Switzerland, actually. He was a member of my Taiko group in Canada, and he asked me like he wants to learn more about Taiko, and like then that made me realize and also I started to got to know that there is a Taiko community spreading in Europe as well. So maybe this is the time that I can share. I can do something for using my connection. So I planned a Europe workshop tour, but instead of me doing it, because I didn't have any knowledge or method to do the workshop, I took H. Saito, who's a member of Kodo. He's an expert of the workshop, and I really liked the message, resonated with the message he had. So I took him and I translated his workshop and went to Europe for a month. And we did workshop for how many countries? 7 or 8 countries for 500 people. And wow. It was really, really good. Everyone liked it, I think. And I learned so much. We learned a lot too. But still, I felt stuck. I didn't know why. So I needed to take some time off actually that was the time that I needed to cancel my I needed to cancel the NATC that I was supposed to go that year, but I needed to take some time off, so I needed to cancel the tour I was supposed to go and stuff.
What year was that? What NATC?
When was that? Oh, San Diego.
Oh, what?
It was the San Diego one. Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. Wow.
No, but I think it was good. Maybe I didn't go that time because at that time my energy level was so low that if I had met you at that time, I probably would have. No, Diana is too much.
You're like, whoa, that is too much. Why are you talking so loud? Who is this person? Why isn't she whispering? Why is she talking this close to my face? Yeah, sorry. Well, okay, maybe.
So I needed to be ready to meet you, so that was good.
Man, what a good thing to put on my resume. To meet Diana. You know what? I think that was a good time to just, I'm just gonna leave now. Okay, no, still here. Keep going.
Okay. Yeah, but so I took my life kind of slower, and Kodo was really, really kind to let me do that. But and at the same time, about that time, I started to go to apprentice center. That was something that was like planned from the before, anyways. And to face the apprentices was tough, but it was so good for me to go back to the basics, all the important basics that I had, or they have, and like relearning again. Instead of like when I was in apprentice, I was just learning like something in front of me. But now I can watch from far how they learn, and I learned like how and what they are learning. And I realized that, oh, they are learning. It's not like only the skills or something they're learning. They're learning how to learn so that they can keep learning on their own from anything, even bad or good, like doesn't matter. They can learn and they can develop on their own, and there's no limit or possibility for something that grows. So that time that I was slowly like progressing my health, I think, and that was the time that I also planned the Roots of Kodo that Diana came. So Roots of Kodo was the workshop, that longer term workshop that I did in Sado, where Kodo is, and inviting very enthusiastic taiko players to from abroad to learn. You can talk about that later, okay?
The very enthusiastic taiko
to learn the deeper understanding of taiko as a performing arts through the experience in Kodo's apprenticeship program. So I put Kodo's apprenticeship program is 2 years, but I put into 10 days, and they had to learn it like really quickly. But that I probably learned more than them. I really like.
What did you learn? Like, wow, people have such loud voices. Chiara and Diana
that
together.
was one thing. There's new type of human being.
New type. Now I'm a new type of human being. This is
I never met the kind of person like you.
You know,
it's a compliment.
We're gonna come back to that.
It's a compliment. You know, you're so entertaining.
But yeah, no, that was a great program. Totally. I mean, go on. Why don't you go ahead?
Okay, I should finish. Okay. Yeah. That program was I learned. I tried to what I kept in my mind always was I will not tell them like things that this is the way we do, or this is the way in Japan or in Kodo. That was something that I avoid. So I always thought about like, why do we do this? Why do we do this? And share them. I wanted to share them something like essential, like why do we do this? So that they can take it back home and they can, so it's like just a seed, and they can try to grow it on their own in their space. Maybe the flower is different than Kodo, but it should be different because the land is different. So that's what I hoped for, and I learned so much. Like even 10 days, that it like they're I felt like it doesn't matter the age or the country, if they have like if they're facing towards the same direction and if they are really eager to learn, there's so much that they can learn in such a short time. So I learned that a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I still think like you're of the people that you had selected to try this out, like I
Yeah.
can't believe how perfect it was. I mean, I'm sure there's always more people that could have been a part
Hmm.
of it. It's still been amazing too. But
Yeah.
usually, whenever you stick a group of people together, you don't know what's going to happen,
Yeah.
right? And you just happen to find like the six people at that time, right, who had that same level of eagerness. We may have all had different personalities,
Uh-huh,
but
uh-huh. It
like
was very
we all
different personality. That made it good actually.
So yeah, and like you said, it was just I mean, Shoji, I don't know if I ever talked to you about this, but when she first told us about this program, I thought it was like, oh, I'm gonna go and be this amazing Yata Bayashi player, and oh, I'm gonna play Miyake like so good now, and I had tennis elbow at the time too, so well, not from the event, but like going there. So I was going in with a completely like not what she intended to teach us, and as well, as she mentioned, it became more than that. Like it was just the understanding of how to be aware, how to work as a team, how to take care of your bodies. Like it's all those important things that is what made someone's taiko so good or so grand, and to take away for our own life as well. So I appreciated that. Thanks, Eddie.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you. That's a nice comment.
No, I find that approach. I mean, that's one thing I mean, I respect a lot of things about you, Eddie, but one of the things that I think is really inspiring as an artist is like that process that you go through about like really trying to discover like what that, you keep saying like what that essential element is, and then to focus, like teach that, as opposed to teach the form and the structure of things,
Mhm.
which, we often get to that, like as teachers, we're often like teaching the form and the structure of things without the why. And that process is a lot deeper and it's a lot more difficult, I think.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I find really inspiring about the work that you do, and the work that you're doing with Sydney too, with TaikoIN, about like thinking about what those values are and like actually trying to articulate them.
Mhm.
And because I think that process will really makes Taiko a lot more open, you know, to
Yeah.
a lot of different people.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, yeah. The shape is what I'm not good at is making the shape actually. So that's something I have to learn in the future. But yeah, I always had problem of like processing because I think too much. It's good
Ah,
sometimes, but
it's a
in
good,
Kodo, like being in the performer in
right,
Kodo, well, it was not a good thing really. Like because like even if I process in my head, it doesn't matter for the audience, what audience sees is myself, my body, the
right.
sound. So if I'm not able to like express it with taiko or body, there's no meaning. So it
Yeah.
was tough, but I'm glad because like everyone else in Kodo also like thinks a lot, and they sometimes there's some people that they don't think much, but they can do it. So I learned a lot from them and try to analyze things. And also like I learned so much how to analyze things in apprentice center. They are learning how to do that. I didn't realize it back then. I thought like everybody's saying such a different things. I don't know what to learn. Like that was something I thought back then. But now I know that like because it's too many ways, but where they want to get is just one place. It's same.
Hmm.
Just how to bring your like full potential out,
Hmm.
and that has no limit.
Yeah.
So yeah, that
I
was.
think
Wow, that was a
the
very beautiful
results,
line. Oh my God.
yeah.
We could cut the live stream right there and that'd be
Oh
like a
yeah,
take.
you should please, because
Or
I
before,
forget.
one of us says something else that is not as profound. Ah, no, I'm just kidding. No, no, that was great. Yeah. But sorry, you were saying something, Shoji?
No, I was just saying that whole, like the results speak for themselves. I mean, so many amazing artists have come through that apprentice, center and have come through Kodo, and there's such like varieties and approaches
Mm-hmm.
from the taiko artists that Kodo sends out into the world after Kodo.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think it's really amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
So
guess I
then,
didn't. Yeah, I guess I didn't finish the story. I stopped at
Yeah.
the root
Yeah.
of Kodo.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep going. Keep going.
yeah, no,
Should
keep
I
going.
continue
Yeah,
now?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
What's that?
So after
After,
the roots of Kodo was good, like really good. And two of my dream came true since I joined Kodo. But still I felt stuck. And I didn't know what to do anymore for the next step in Kodo. So, well, I know that this is the best environment to play taiko as a performer, but I don't know what to do anymore. So I decided to leave Kodo, and I was actually thinking to leave from taiko as well. But so the first thing I wanted to do after leaving Kodo was to go see everybody in the world. Well, not everybody, like friends in the Kodo, friends in abroad, and to just say thank you for the support. Like I couldn't have gone, I wouldn't have gone that far without all the support. So I just wanted to go say thank you, and just wanted to talk because I didn't know what to do anymore, where to go next. So the first place I went was San Jose. Yui actually introduced me to Roy and PJ. I knew about them, but I never really like talked to them before. And Yui supported me a lot with like some of the projects. Roots of Kodo was one of it, and she understood like what I want to do and like what's my philosophy, like how I think. So she said like,
oh,
Elisa, you have to meet them. Like, okay, like I was like, okay, I will, kind of thing. And then, so it was really just a coincidence because like I just went. My last tour was America, like USA tour. So I didn't really actually have to go there since I met them, since I went there. But because you connected like really strongly, and I met Rory and PJ at the while the tour, and they said like come to San Jose Obon. Like I said yes. So since I said yes, I have to go. So so I went, and San Jose Obon. It was only like 2 or 3 days after I arrived, and that was the first time I knew about it. But that was the first time I saw it, and I cried so hard at that
oh,
Obon. Like everybody's like having fun and like it's nothing to cry about, but like it just made me um the taiko was so in the center of everybody, the community, and like bringing it together, and that just the sound just resonated with me. And to be honest, when I was in Kodo, I could never really think of, oh, okay, taiko is my lifetime work, because it was important for me. It made my life, but it was so hard. There was so much to think and so hard. So I didn't know if I can really like handle this forever. So that was what I was thinking in Kodo. But since I saw that San Jose Obon, that made me think, wow, taiko is so important. And I thought it was like taiko is just one of the tool that I have. Like it could be anything else as long as like the message, some essential message carries. But no, because well, not no, like there is things that could be possible, but taiko has so much potential to be able to carry to many people, all ages, all nations, and also all abilities, or like so broad and so deep. It's just like taiko itself. The taiko can be played anyone, or even if you couldn't play it, if you hear it, you can feel taiko. But so the entrance is so broad, but it's so deep. Every single taiko is so different. It's made of wood and hide. It's so primitive. It hasn't really developed much. Because of that, we have to develop to that, to adjust and to be able to get the best sound in each place. It's so different every time. So it could get so deep. Okay, ちょっと待って. I'm going too far. ちょっと待って. I'm going back.
Oh, this is great. I'm just like digging it up. It's also fun to know that like when you went to San Jose Bowl and this is what you got. And then when I went to San Jose Bowl and I'm like, when am I going to get my beef teriyaki and my beer? Oh, shoot. I didn't. I got the beer instead of get a good seat for San Jose Taiko. And now I got to watch from behind the car. So I'm glad that you got that. And then it was the mass consumer. It's like,
Yeah.
play this game, play that game.
Right. San Jose Taiko. That was that's okay.
There you go.
Yeah, San Jose Taiko at San Jose Bowl. And also like I got to know about Roy and PJ. PJ said for the first thing that I told her like, so she like just like her, like she asked me, so what are you gonna do? Like what are you up to, right? So I told her that like, wow, I want to think of like what to do next and like kind of like that. And she just looked at me and just empty yourself. That's what she said. And that just encouraged me so much. And that made my heart so much open.
Oh,
So
PJ
long
has
story short,
for sure.
long story short, that from that experience, from that San Jose Bonds really touching experience, I decided right away that I wanted to do taiko. But not only performance. My question was, what is the taiko that could make me fulfilled and healthy? Not only me, but me and everyone as well. So I was trying to find what I learned in Kodo and how can I adapt that to that question. And then that was the time that I met Sydney Shiroyama, who made TaikoIN concept together. And TaikoIN is something I learned from Taiko and also how I want to use Taiko. It's still hard to explain. It's not like a method or something. It's Sydney said frame of reference. I don't know exactly what it means, but yeah, that's a concept of that. Yeah, and TaikoIN is so TaikoIN is the word I created. That came from the question when I asked, what is taiko? What makes taiko taiko? Oh, thank you. Yeah, what makes taiko taiko? I think the definition of taiko is still something to be discussed with everyone in the world. It's not just an instrument. It's not just a thing. I think taiko is a thing between the things. I think taiko is a resonation of each other and yourself. So I have a hope that taiko does not decide the border by its shape, but it includes more of like essential meaning of how taiko could be used. So the taiko as a noun might be the instrument itself, but I created this word TaikoIN, ing, as a verb that could include the meaning of essential power of taiko, which is resonating internally and with the others. So the use of this word is like if you resonate with something that some people say, oh yeah, I really understand like what you say. I'm so taikoing with you. That kind of use. And I'm hoping that could go back to like how you play taiko as well. I think that's essential, and that's something should not be missed when you play taiko, even if solo or yeah. So that TaikoIN concept is that word plus 4 concepts that we created. One is interconnection, in the moment, inspiring, and inclusive. Okay, good. Inclusive. So those four. Well, it's in a website that kaDON put. So if you're interested, please take a look at it. But yeah, TaikoIN is this TaikoIN word, TaikoIN plus this 4 concept, and this is the core value and essence that I'd like to share through my work, like my workshop, even if I do performances, basically workshops. So that's something that's why I named TaikoIN Body Awareness. Okay, long explanation.
Yeah.
That's where I am now.
That was bravo.
Awesome.
That definitely sets everything up. You know, people have an understanding now of sort of like where you're coming from and what your, what your philosophy is, or what it's based on. Because I think that that understanding will help with kind of grasping the concepts that you are sharing. And I mean, I think that's a good opportunity. Well, first of all, get some water because I know you said that without even, I've already finished whatever's in here. You don't know what's in here, but
I'm getting hot.
yeah, well, yeah, that was, yeah, yes, yeah, stay alive. We got more time. But I do, yeah, I mean, like, so just hearkening back to roots of Kodo, I do want to mention that one of the workshops was taught by, well, one of the lessons, right, was you taught it to us. And I remember that because you taught us to relax, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, I know what that means. As I stood there like this, like, I'm relaxing, says the one with the tennis elbow. So and it was that was the part that really stuck with me because it wasn't so much that I didn't know, well, maybe I didn't know. It wasn't so much that I didn't know that relaxing was important. It was just really refreshing and eye-opening to hear what you honed in on to help someone achieve that relaxation, like having a body awareness and being able to really truly relax. And I remember kind of taking that back to my group and trying to like explain to them like that same concept, because since then I feel like not just in my taiko, but in my everyday activities, like just the way I run, the way I move in the kitchen, the way I pick up my dog when she won't leave the dog park, like just how I move my body has been much more, I think healthier, I think, right? And like, it's so
natural, I would say.
Yeah, more natural. Yes, right? And I'm so and this concept right here. This is what I hope this kind of transition into what you're going to teach. I'm really excited for more people to be able to learn from that. So why don't you talk about that, like kind of briefly about your workshop, like what are you hoping? Of course, we want people to come to the workshop, so don't teach it now.
Okay.
But kind of give us an idea of what you're hoping people come away with. And
so this is a concept. It's not like I came up completely. I learned from when I was in Kodo, which was Ryutaro Kaneko, who is an ex-Kodo player. He brought in this concept of this method called Renki Jushinho. That's a mix of martial arts, Aikido, Tai Chi, that kind of thing. They are based in Tokyo, and I learned that from them and break it into how I play taiko, but also in everyday life too, because that's what I did in Apprentice Center and also in Kodo too. Like what you see on the stage is only top of the mountain, and this is how you live, and taiko shows how you live. So you cannot hide it. You cannot hide how you live. So this is a part, and this is what I was teaching to the apprentice was how to connect this part. So how to live more being aware of your body and yourself. And like you Diana said, I think most of people know that relax is important, but we never really learn how to relax. And that method, I learned how to relax, and that was very eye-opening. To think about relax, okay, relax. It does not really make you relax. It's so that I focus on the body, which we don't do much often. Like we focus on our emotion, we focus on what we think, but we don't focus on our body so much in our everyday life. But when we realize that, it's quite obvious. It's not like spiritual, like, okay, you feel relaxed. It's not like that. It's obvious that your body is relaxed, and also relaxed or tense. And you can practice that in your everyday life as well. And that's the best place to practice, because it's you always move differently. And also, as you learn more and more in your everyday life, which is the best time right now, actually, since you cannot touch Taiko. When you go back to Taiko, this workshop is best. I'm starting to think that this workshop might be the best online to start with, because we are not on Taiko. When we are in front of Taiko, of course people wants to play Taiko, but when you go on Taiko, you go back, your habit comes back.
Yeah.
You want to play Taiko and you become aggressive to that. It's fine, it's fun, but what we are trying to do is relearning, like how to use our body naturally. That actually, we know that, our body already know that, but there's so many things we have to do in everyday life that we forget. So that's relearning how to use your body naturally. And I'm finding myself now. So I'm doing, when I move now, like just everyday life, I realize how different I use my body to bring up the bottle, and just how to stand, how to walk, like just like Diana said. And that, if you can be aware of that every day, that could naturally be applied to Taiko. And why it's good for when it's played Taiko is, so Taiko is the sound, right? Sound. And sound is a resonation. So it has to resonate, like it has to move the skin, and it has to, well, to make a sound, you have to move the air. And to make more resonation, it's not only skin, but also body and the skin on the outside, not outside, the other side of Taiko. And when you can move the whole thing, the resonation happens more and more. That could reach to the audience. And if the resonation is more natural means that, am I going too deep?
No, that's
Okay. This skin, when you hit Taiko, the skin moves, but it comes back. It goes like this, right? I mean, natural is you hit and you leave as this comes back, but it's not something that you can think to do. You just have to feel it with your body, and when you can do that, it's pushes enough to move the whole body of Taiko, and also you don't have any like hit back to your body, like hit back, like some against power. It's very natural because Taiko is helping you to push back, and that's the time to release. And to be able to do that, you have to be able to feel that. Your body has to be ready to feel that. So that's why we need to relax. And once you relax, you'll learn, like everything will actually start to teach you. Your body will teach you how to move because it knows what's the best, how to move the best. And yeah, when I learned that for the first time, it was like everything was so much fun. Even just to like hold the hashi chopsticks. Wow, how to hold it naturally? Like it was so excited.
Yeah, yay, chopsticks.
Yeah,
Yay.
and also and so when you learn about the body, mind, soul is so connected. You know, like when you are happy, your chest opens and like you're happy, you go like this, and when you're sad, you go like this. You know, so your body movement, how your body becomes affects to your mind and soul as well. So yeah, it helped my mental health a lot too. It didn't work like right away, but it helped a lot that I know it works. Yeah. and
Yeah.
it's working now.
No, I hear you because like, well, I mean, I don't know if it's exactly the same experience, but especially nowadays because most of us don't have Taiko in our house, and even if we did, we have neighbors who don't want to hear it, right? So a lot of us are using like drum pads, which is a hard surface. It's not like right. So I think especially in that situation, if you're used to being like very tense and you're still punching, that sort of muscling, and you try to hit a drum pad that way, that's like really painful.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
So I found like just kind of thinking about how, just that understanding of, what's the bounce back that this drum pad is giving back to me, that really just being able to think about, connect that, and then how my body moves and what I feel, like you can even in that situation, you can generate like just like that perfect balance of what you need to strike that and it's like very similar to how I would have possibly struck a taiko with a resonating head. So yeah, I see what Jamie, I understand. I get it too. Like I agree too that during this time, I think taking away the taiko, even though it's so sad and we miss it, it's a great opportunity to just like think about all those other factors. Especially how our body moves. So yeah, oh my God, I can't wait for people to find out.
I think just like listening to Eri, I think everybody watching this will really get a sense of like how deeply she considers things and thinks through things, and her it's really fantastic. I can't wait for the workshop series because it's like these simple concepts that you just have a depth that you go with them, and it's really, really inspiring. I'm looking forward to it for sure.
You can sense the passion in what you're saying too. Like this is something that even if I tried, I mean, not one can attest to this. Like when I try to like replicate what you've taught me, like it's not my concept, so it doesn't come out the same way. I think there was a recent workshop that I did recently that and the way I described it just came out sounding kind of gross. It was like it was really bad. It was like the whole it's like which is your class number 2, right? Or liquid. Yeah, liquid, I was describing the liquid concept, and let's just say it did not.
Can just kind of
we can save that for the actual class. Sign up for the workshop, and I will tell you the gross story of how she talked about the use of liquid.
Oh my God.
But that's anyway. That went off track real fast. What I meant was, exactly. Like it's these concepts, and I think anyone else saying them potentially might not sound the same way. It's just like, but I can sense how much, like Shoji said, how much you've thought about this, how much you really believe in this, and I think that's what's really, really attractive about what you're teaching, and really I think people are absolutely going to enjoy this. And even if they don't immediately, even if they don't get it right away, this is a concept that it's gradually, if you constantly practice it and think about it, then there's that day, like you said, where you're just like, that's it.
Oh yeah, really. There's so many things happen like that with what I learned in apprentices, and it's gonna happen. It's apprentice was like 10 years ago already, but there's still some things that I discover. So
So I mean, I know like you'll talk more about this in class 1, which is gravity, but it involves using a pillow.
Yes.
I was going to say, like, you don't want to don't go into detail yet, because again, it's in class 1. But it's amazing. Like if you just get, I think I saw Kiara's comment earlier, how she's like, the pillow exercise. It took me so long to learn it, and I'm like, I can't. I don't know. I don't even know why I brought it up, because we're not talking about it. I just wanted to be like.
But that was fun. We tried. Me and Shoji tried.
At like 4 a.m.
Oh yeah. Wait, this was after NAPC, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I'm just like, I'm like, guys, it's 3 a.m. and we're throwing pillows and trying to get.
It was so great. We had so much to talk about. Everybody was so tired.
I was so tired, but we can't stop.
We can't stop. Like, let me show you People are
like this
sleeping
is a
in between.
Happening now with kaDON. Like, how late can we stay?
Yeah. Well, there's so much to talk about. There's so much to, and like the times that we do have together, they are kind of rare. So it's great just to really be able to talk and deeply about things that you think about a lot that like not a lot of, not a lot of other people think about as much. Well, it takes a certain, like there's a certain, you have to be really into it to like, um, to have fun in some of these conversations. But yeah, I mean, that was a night to remember for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Man, I can't wait till you visit us again in the States when that's
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
me
gonna be
too.
so great. I was
Oh.
just thinking about because your story about San Jose Obon that just happened like last
Yeah.
weekend. It was like online, and it was like no,
Mm,
yeah.
I missed
So
that.
yeah,
Yeah, if you visit again, we can. Some of you may or may not have known. After Taiko conference in Portland last year, Eddie. I mean, I was the U-Haul driver, so Eddie drove down. Well, she was my passenger, driving from Portland to Mount Shasta to San Francisco to LA to San Diego. So that was a lot of catching up time. A lot of great memories there.
all up and down the
Um,
West Coast. Yeah.
so yeah, we should do that again, Eddie.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, yeah, I think it's time to cut the live stream now.
In the middle seat of the yeah.
It
This is
was
probably a good
fun.
place to wrap it up.
Totally.
I
So yeah,
started.
oh, sorry,
Yeah, I
go on.
started. No, no, it's okay. Nothing important. I just started to scream like for no reason.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, we can share really fast, but there was one time where we had to drive from like 11 p.m. at night to get Shogo Yoshi, one of our kaDON instructors, to the airport at 5 a.m. So that was which was actually really fun. At the time, you guys, I thought everyone would go to sleep, but you and Shogo shared so much, kind of like what you're talking about today, and
Yeah.
Shogo's philosophy as well. Like it
Yeah.
was really, really great until after we dropped off Shogo, and then Eddie turned into Bizarro Eddie, and then became this whole other, like she was so tired, poor thing.
Yeah, because like talking to Shogo-san is always make my brain burst. Too much to think.
He's got a lot of good philosophy too, which I think we have some stuff we're going to release
Yeah.
at some point about
Yeah.
Shogo's philosophy as well. It's really, really good stuff.
It's
But yeah,
gonna
you
be
had to listen to
deep.
that.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be deep for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And you had to listen to it at 4 a.m. in the morning in a U-Haul. So anywho, yeah, so thank you to those who tuned in. And if you're listening to this later, thank you for listening as well. Once again, TaikoIN Body Awareness is going to start next Thursday,
Next Thursday.
6 p.m. Pacific time. So 10 a.m. in Japan, 9 p.m. I'm getting better with these time zones, I think. 9 p.m. in the East Coast. And it's, again, I know the hours seem a little later, but this is the kind of stuff I think is really good for right at the end of the day where
Yeah,
you just,
true.
you just relax, your mind relaxes. And if it was, if there was a lot of information, then you just go to bed. So really hope you guys can join us. And again, if you can't make any of the times, you can still sign up and then we'll send you the recordings before the next class or even afterwards as well. So spread the word. We hope to see you there. Eddie, you have any final words you want to say?
I'm just looking forward to see everyone there.
Yay!
Yay!
All right, bye
Okay.
everyone.
Bye.
See you
Bye,
soon.
Facebook.
Now keep
Bye.
saying bye because I don't know how to stop. Here we go.